Hey traders, I've been really excited to make this video for you, um, partially because I believe, I know it can help a lot of people out there that are struggling being consistent in trading. And I'm here to tell you that it's not a pattern indicator or some kind of signal that you need to improve on, almost, or strategy. Thousands of strategies work. The one thing that's keeping you from consistency is discipline. And a disciplined trader is a consistent trader. That's a fact. So in trading, consistency equates to a positive trading account balance over time with few large drawdowns. None of these sharp, spikes down that I know you've experienced, like I've experienced as well, or accounts being blown up. Um, I'm here to tell you that you can train to be disciplined, right? And so um, I challenge your belief. A lot of people believe this, that people are born with discipline and that talent alone got them to great levels of success. This is simply not true. I'm here to break that belief and show you a path to more discipline over time, where after 30, 60, 90 days, you'll be a completely different trader than when you started. And then you'll be consistently profitable at that point. If you could do this, and it won't be easy, but it is a path forward that you can follow and a formula that works. So let me ask you, do you think Michael Jordan would be a good trader? Honestly, without his money, give him a $25,000, $30,000 account. He had talent, athletic talent, and other talents for playing the game. But if you read anything about him or know anything about Michael Jordan, and like Kobe Bryant or a lot of the top tier players, and I mean top players, their work ethic and their discipline was like 0 to none. After he wins a championship, the next day he's back at the gym because he wants to win next year. That's a lot of grit, a lot of mental toughness, and a lot of discipline. And he wasn't born, I guarantee you, he wasn't born with it. Something in his life might have happened to wire him a certain way, but I will prove to you that he wasn't, people can be not born with it and cultivate this discipline. Richard Branson had a pretty tough childhood, didn't wasn't given anything to become a billionaire, but he's a billionaire businessman. He struggled with, if you read his life story, he has a biography, he struggled with dyslexia, where he had to learn, to read and write. And he dealt with that and overcame it. And so he has a lot of grit, and I think he'd be a good trader, even without all his billions of dollars. Like, he would develop discipline in order to become successful. Here's another one of my favorites is David Goggins. If you don't know his story, he has a great biography called You Can't Hurt Me, but he's a Navy SEAL. He'd been through BUD/S training 3 times. He's been through hell and back 3 times. And to read his story about his childhood and where he came from, it is just unbelievable. He lost 110 pounds within like 3 months just to get into BUD/S when he decided he was going to commit to it. This guy is a definition of a hard mother, you know what? Like, he is a badass. And he runs ultra marathons now, like 100 miles over several days, and it's just still kicking ass to this day. So I think he'd be a pretty good trader because he'd be damn well disciplined. But if you look at his backstory, he didn't start life out that way. So what's in common? No matter any talents those people that we just reviewed they all cultivated discipline and what they wanted to achieve. So how did they do that? There's several methods to that, and you can read the autobiographies and see how they did that. But I developed a system that mirrors somebody who's actually very successful. And so how can we use that to cultivate discipline in your trading? So this guy, Jerry Seinfeld, right? Creative writing, which what he does for comedy especially, is one of the hardest mental endeavors to do. Imagine having to write jokes and get in front of a crowd of people. And these guys, they spend hours and hours not only writing their jokes, but performing them in like test cases to see if people react. They're not savants that just write a joke and it just works every time. If you don't believe me, read some stories about that or try it yourself. It's very difficult. So he devised a system where he wrote comedy every single day without missing a day for years without fail. And this is what he developed a system called Streaks. And it's not, he didn't develop it. I mean, it's been around. You might have heard of Streaks, but just giving an example of somebody who used this as discipline. And he uses it in other parts of his life. Like if you look at the guy, I think he's like 65 and he looks like he's 50 because he works out every day. So he uses this type of streak system for other parts of his life as well. And the earnings from the show, I mean, this system shows it. Just from the Seinfeld show, he's earned almost $1 billion and counting. And as the show continues to show on Hulu and other things like that, continues to rake in money. But it was all because of that grit and that determination and the daily work that he put in and these streaks. So how can you use streaks in your trading? I'm going to show you how. So really, for the basic thing, what is a streak? Is that there's a string of days of completion of some kind of thing you're going to commit to. And there's no compromise. You do not finish. I don't care if one of your items is that you're going to review your trades and you're dead tired. You just complete it for that day. And so let me go into detail about what that looks like. So there's really 4 main parts to this, right? First one is you're going to get a notebook or a calendar. It could be a physical calendar or Google Calendar, whatever, or an app. But the thing is, you have to track your streaks. You want to see the X's, or you want to see the completion throughout the weeks and months and years, hopefully. Then every day you want to have a minimum of 3 items that you want to complete and a maximum of 5. You don't want too many. You don't want too few. So 3 to 5. And since we're talking about trading, these could only be on trading days if you want, right? They don't have to be every day of the week. 20 trading days in a month, you can have 3 things that you're doing 20 times that month. But you're going to try to string them together and you're not going to break the streak. There are some caveats to that, which I'll go into, but just continue. Then you're going to set up a reward and a punishment system for completing or failing a streak. I'll show you an example of that. The other thing that's important too is that you'll find that some of these items, they'll just become habits very quickly because you have, for some reason, they might seem harder for one person to do, but for you, they're more inclined. Like for me, I used to have a problem with reviewing my trades every single night at the end of the day trading, at the end of the day. But I quickly found a lot of value in that because the data I was getting back. So it quickly turned into a streak forming habit, into something I do automatically. So I took that off of my streak list and I added another component that I want to improve on discipline-wise. So let me show you exactly what I'm doing for streaks, right? So I got an app that I got for my Android. Apple's got a lot better apps for this. I think there's one called Streaks, but this is a Loop Habit Tracker. It's on the right there. It's a screenshot. And so I have a few things I want to do, and I just check them off as I go out through the week. So here's my 5 things. Every morning, I want to make my own morning report before the market opens. So I have to wake up early enough, and I have to give myself enough time to make that report. Not roll out of bed right before the market opens and not know what the hell's going on. I've done that plenty of times too. I have to do this, right, every morning. I'm going to stop trading after my max profit or max loss for the day. There's no more trading after those 2 numbers are hit. A lot of times I trade after my profit target. Let's say it's $500 a day or $250 a day. And then I give it all back, right? So I'm going to have a set number. I'm going to stick to that. If I do hit that, I need to stop. In order to form discipline, I'm going to track that every single day. The other part I have to work on is leaving a second exit or a small piece on. So if I trade something for, let's say, 500 shares, I'm going to hit my profit target with 400, and I'm going to leave 100 run. And if it goes back to my entry, I'll break even on it. But those runners, they've turned into so much profit gains for me because some things will run 5 points throughout the day. And I made my 400 shares. I sold my 400 shares within a few minutes of the trade, and the runner just did awesome all the way to the close of the day. Kept on going. So reviewing my trades, just getting that data feedback, and that's been eye-opening. So one of the things I discovered was that I am 4 times more profitable on short trades than I am on long trades. So a profit factor of 3.5 compared to 0.8, or I'm almost break even and a little bit negative on my longs. So so that tells me I didn't work on my longs, and I wouldn't have discovered this if I didn't review my trades and track them. And then the last thing is once a week. So this doesn't have to be necessarily daily. If something is difficult for you and it's a once a week thing, you could put it on here as well. So for me, I am a day trader, but it's very difficult for me to put on swing trades and to see things in the red, even if it's just a few bucks. So I put on a very small size swing trade at least once a week, right? So these are my things that I need to work this and perform better discipline wise. So after I capture all that and I form a streak of, let's say, 20 days or a month, I want to set up some kind of punishment if I don't complete a streak, or reward if I do. So my punishment will be that during that time I will use a ridiculously annoying small share size until I complete a 20-day streak. And let's say I get to day 19 and I screw up, I'm back at day 1. I'm still using that small size until I get 20 full days in a row. So if I fail, I go back to day 1. It's going to be difficult, but it builds fortitude, builds discipline, and it should help in my overall trading. Even if it takes me longer to get there, the process of doing this should ingrain in me more discipline, and you too. So this doesn't have to be your punishment or your reward. You can make it anything, but it should be kind of related to trading. And it doesn't necessarily be a punishment, but an annoyance kind of helps too. Like trading small size, like, damn, I could have made more today if I just trade my normal size, but I can't do it until I hit my 20-day streak type of thing. So my reward, of course, is after 20 days of a streak, or 1 month, 20 trading days. I will have proved to myself that I am disciplined and I earn the right to increase my share size. Like, I need to earn that right for myself to be confident and disciplined enough to say I can increase my share size. And I can keep on doing that. If I do another 20 days, I can keep on increasing my share size slowly. Not because a certain amount of time has passed by or my account has gotten a certain size. In day trading, or in trading in general, you can win with bad discipline and bad habits for a very long time, and then all of a sudden, because you don't have the discipline in order to stop out or do whatever you need to do, you take a huge drawdown, and then you're back to where you were at a few months ago or a month ago. You lose several weeks worth of earnings. So this is where the power of it really comes in. And so just to give you some ideas and ask yourself, how will you do streaks? Here's some ideas for discipline. Let's say you have shiny object syndrome and you're switching from one strategy to another, which could be fine at different parts of the day. But I suggest what I did, and what really helped, is I stuck to one trading setup until I mastered it, which took about a year. A little less than a year, but about a year. I highly recommend that you stop using the shiny object syndrome, and don't assume that the reason you're not winning consistently is because of a setup or a strategy. It is because of your discipline. I guarantee it. Like I said, thousands of strategies and setups work, not just one. Another idea is stop trading after a certain time of day. Perhaps never take a trade without verifying how many shares are available, or shares float. In other words, a lot of times low float stocks will do some crazy moves and you get stuck in them, or there's all kinds of bad things that happen. Some people look for low float shares, so it's not saying they're bad. It's just giving you an example. For me, I never trade biotech stocks. That's something that completely is ingrained in my trading. I'll never take a biotech stock unless it's a big name like mRNA or Johnson & Johnson. But for the most part, I don't take those crazy stock moves that a biotech can occur. So that is my presentation. I really would enjoy if you put your 3 to 5 discipline things in the comments. I'd love to get an idea and revisit this and see how everybody's doing. and I'd like to share with you how I'm doing after a few months of streaking. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you guys like to see more of videos like this. Rather than, I do mostly trade reviews on my channel of my day trading, but if you want to see more strategy mindset type things, I'd be happy to do those. Just leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.